Well, you see it.
It's on.
Oh, I know.
It's on the last page.
Now it's Wednesday, February 21st, 2024 at 6:30. We are in the ECC in Palisades Park. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is a work session, a regular session meeting of Palisades Park Board of Education. The flag salute will be read by Ms. Eun-min.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hopefully don't get scared because I have some swollen throat, but I don't have fever. So, ink. Okay, let's roll call, please.
Sue Chung,
Present.
Mr. Charlie Shin,
Present.
Ms. Rebecca Lee, Ms. Suk Young Park,
Yes.
Mr. Aaron Pack, present. Mr. William Kim,
Present.
Mr. Anthony Kim,
Here.
Ms. Bo Young Yu,
Here.
Ms. Yoon Min,
Present.
Dr. Cirillo,
Here.
Mr. McCann,
Here.
Ms. Jocelyn Hernandez.
Here.
Thank you.
In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, I hereby state that notice of this regular meeting has been provided to the public by the written notice dated January 14, 2024. The meeting notice has been emailed to all staff members at the district's 3 school locations, communicated to at least one of the board's designated newspaper, The Record, and filed with the Board Clerk of Palisades Park. Now I'd like to enter to the work session, and may I have a motion?
Motion to enter work session.
All in favor?
All right.
So, do we discuss about the meeting minute before we approval, or we just going on to the committee? Okay, let's just talk about, any discussion on meeting minutes? We have 2 meeting minutes for approval in work, in regular session. One is reorganization business meeting that was dated on January 10, 2024. The other was a regular, the meeting minutes from the regular meeting on January 17, 2024. Any discussion? Okay. So we'll move on to the committee reports. In finance, Mr. Shin, do you have any reports to share with us?
Yeah, we have 20 items for the board approval. The first is food service vouchers, second, secretary and treasurer's financial report. The third, ratification of board secretary's monthly certification. 4, approval of payroll. 5, the approval of the bill list of February. Number 6, transfers, and number 7, student activities account. Number 8, staff member visitation and workshop. Number 9, athletic reimbursements, and number 10, tuition reimbursement. 11, approval of HVAC payment, and number 12, extra class stipends and leave vacancies. And 13, the local donation we got, and 14, approval of authorizing execution and delivery of the grant agreement for the school facility project, and 15, acceptance of fiscal year 2023 audit and annual comprehensive financial report. 16, audit corrective action plan fiscal year 2023, and 17, appointment of home instruction teachers, 18 newcomer program, 19 withdraw from capital reserve for the ROD grant, and number 20 out of district tuition contract. We have 12 items. Any motion?
Any discussion?
I have a question about 11. How many payments do we have left or forward?
Alex, do you want to speak to number 11? We don't have an exact number of payments remaining, but we can tell you how much we have paid and how much balance remains on that project, on those projects. Alex?
Yep. So for Palisades Park High School, HNS Construction is the general contractor. The total amount of the project is $3.6 million. So far remaining would be $706,317. For Panetta at Lindbergh, total cost of the project $894,400. Remaining amount $164,329. At ECC, the total cost of the project for KCN is $749,000, and the remaining balance is $158,026.
Alex, if you don't mind, I know you have information also. Although it wasn't asked, Rebecca, it's a very good question. Can you just share approximately how much of the work is completed in each of the 3 buildings by way of percentile?
At the Palisades Park High School, 80% is complete as of today.
Has the HVAC system come in yet?
The chiller is what you're
Yes,
referring
the
to, right?
Yes.
It's chilly still, we're okay.
At Lindbergh School, 95% is complete for the boiler replacement, and at ECC, 90% is complete.
So when do you expect all this project is completed?
I'm
Charlie, the
hoping
goal
sometime
was
this
that
year.
we would be completed by the end of this summer, the end of summer of '24.
You mean even the chiller is?
That is
for the
correct. We
air
were told there was a
conditioner, right? So
52-week
you-
lead time
Can
for
we
that.
use the air conditioner in this summer?
Maybe in August, that's the goal. They said end of summer, I hope they're right.
For the Lindbergh, oh no, this is separate. Never
Well,
mind.
let's stay on the finance then.
Yeah, we actually discussed this on February 19 during our finance meeting. And you mentioned that it's 90% complete, and ECC is about and now they're on the system of training. So can you briefly say that to all the board members
Sure.
knows about?
So at the ECC where we are currently, each classroom has a thermostat. This room does not because it has a separate unit over our heads on the roof. Teachers, I think there's some in the classroom. There's one in the back for this unit, but that's not one of the newer units. Teachers do have the discretion. Thank you. We do have a teacher or 2 here. They think they have the ability to raise it and lower it by 3 degrees only. There are limitations, so we're not playing around too much with a system, damaging it. That is obviously something that is being done to ensure that we are not breaking something.
So is it separated by zones?
So there are multiple zones. Every unit has their own thermostat,
Thank
but they are only able to raise it and lower it by 3 degrees.
Thank you for your explanation.
Christina did not know that, she said.
She felt wrong.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the items on the finance?
And number 12, for the 134,000, where, can you explain where that came from?
Of course.
Where was that
So,
from last year?
yep, so every year we continue to run, I think, a very successful math science academy. We do offer extra courses, 0 period, maybe stipends for some of our teachers. Additionally, as we all know, there's a major shortage of teachers. We've had multiple teachers throughout our district leave our district for multiple reasons, and they have not been replaced because it's inadequate potential hirees. I applaud many of our colleagues in the audience, and not here tonight, but they are able to pick up extra classes that fit within their schedule. At a high school, for example, anyone that teaches more than a 5th class is eligible for a stipend. So many of these courses are actually teachers picking up courses for their colleagues when they're on leaves.
Thank you. Anyone
one
else?
more. I have one more, for the 19, this means that we're.
What number, I'm sorry?
19.
Yes.
So we're withdrawing it from the grant account to
No.
our account.
No, so what we did at the December meeting, we authorized because we received approximately $434,000 in a ROD grant, Rebecca. We know what the bid came in at. We know, I think we awarded a contract of $889,000 approximately. But when the ROD grant, which was submitted to Trenton, was prepared by our architects, the grant, we did not know what the bid price would be. The grant was submitted, and it was in the amount of approximately $1,086,600. We have to take money out of our capital reserve to ensure that we can finance this whole project, even though we know it's not gonna cost that. We have to have that money allocated in the event there are emergencies, contingencies, after the fact that the roof is opened up at the junior, senior. So we have to make sure we have enough money in the account. So the 889 plus the 197 will get you to that $1,086,000.
What are the total dollars for number 10?
That is to be determined, William, dependent upon how many teachers are eligible, take tuition to take college courses for reimbursement. So usually in the May, meeting, contractually, we have to see how many teachers were eligible for it. I believe the contract stipulates, approximately $17,500 in reimbursement. It's at the Rutgers University rate. Any teacher is eligible, I believe, up to 9 credits a year for reimbursement. So that allocation is divvied up amongst all eligible teachers.
Any further discussion on finance items from number 1 to 20? If not, we'll move on to the building and ground. Ms. Rebecca Lee, do you have a report to share with us?
There's 2 agendas on the building and grounds. One is a shredding event that happens either once a year or twice a year, I believe, and then number 2 is the church that rents out our facility at the high school every year. So it's just a renewal.
I'm sorry that we didn't have the committee meeting for this building and grounds, but would you like to share a little bit of your knowledge of shredding, with the shredding events?
Shredding events is for the community. It happens at Lindbergh. Any resident, even non-resident, can bring their materials to get shredded if they don't wanna just, toss it in the garbage. So it's from 9 to 1. It's dated here July 13th and October 26th.
Thank you for explaining.
Do we have rain dates for these or no?
I don't think they submitted rain dates to us yet. We can check with this in conjunction with the recycling department at Palisades Park, so we can be in touch with them.
Any other discussion of building and ground? If
Can you
not,
explain, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
number 2 in the building and grounds, ask a school the rental, the fee, $25,000, what does that mean?
Sure.
Is it annual fee?
So, as you may or may not remember, all years prior to this past summer, because of the major reconstruction, renovation, and HVAC project, we have rented our high school, the junior, senior high school, to a ask school, which has been our tenant technically. They rent our building Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. They pretty much, this year they're asking for a little bit more in space, but they will be using our cafeteria, as has been done in years past. All food is prepared outside, brought for the students that are signed up. It's a summer camp of sorts, but there's an educational component run completely by their program. None of our employees. So they're renting our school for $25,000.
Any further discussion? If not, let's move on to the personnel. Mr. Shin?
Yes, personnel committee, we have the 9 items for the approval. One, the first one is resignation of the teacher, and second is full-time to part-time position change, and third is resignation of assistant track and field coach. And 4 is assistant track and field coach hiring, and 5 is appointment of staff, and 6 intervention and referral service, 7 family leave of 2 teachers, and number 8 volunteer BOE tennis coach, and number 9 appointment of substitute teacher. We have 9 items to be discussed.
Welcome back, Mr. Costello.
Thank you. Any further discussion regarding all these personnel items? If not, let's move to curriculum. Ms. Go, do you have items to share with us?
Yes, field trips. Number 1, field trips. Palisades Park Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the following field trips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 field trips. The destination, first one is the Repertorio Español and Tapas de España. Second, Pasquec Valley High School Theater Production. Third, Bergen Performing Arts Center. Fourth, American Dream Mall Angry Birds Golf. Fifth, Urban Air Hackensack, New Jersey. Sixth, Palisades Park Swing Club. Seventh, Paradox Museum. Actually, there's 7.
There's one more on the next page.
Oh,
The next page.
Eighth, Ramapo College. Then number 2, delayed openings for Palisades Park High School and New Jersey SLA testing. That the Palisades Park Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the following days for delayed opening at the Palisades Park Junior Senior High School due to New Jersey SLA testing. Monday, May 20th, Tuesday, May 21st, Wednesday, May 22nd, Thursday, May 23rd.
Thank you. Any further discussion regarding all this curriculum?
Yeah, for NJSLA,
Yes.
is it all grades that are delayed?
Not the students who are testing. And keep in mind that Friday, there still may be assessments, but we already have a half day, I believe that is the Friday before Memorial Day. So we still may be testing. Students who are testing obviously will be in regular time. Upon approval, correspondence will be shared with all family members.
Thank you. Just also a question regarding all this Palisades Park Swimming Club. Is that pre-prom events?
No, that is not the pre-prom.
It's
So
not?
the senior class, one of their, I guess during senior week, we'll call it, one of their activities is an event where they all go to the pool.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, next negotiation, Mr. William Kim, do you have any report to share with us?
So the negotiations committee had initial discussions with the PPA team this past month, and we hope to move forward things along as fast as possible. So
Thank you, and we know that we are working very hard, and thank you for your efforts. Okay, so next we move to the policy committee, Ms. Min.
There are 2 items, which is a Form 326. That's the New Jersey Department of Agriculture, Form 326. Another one is Form 327, and adopt the New Jersey Department of Agriculture, Form 327. We have a 2 items.
Okay, any questions or discussion regarding on this policy number 1 and 2? Mr. Aaronbach?
Yes, what exactly is the difference between the Form 326 and the Form 327?
Alex, do you want to speak to them, please?
In the differences?
I shared both forms in the drive. Let me just pull it up. Form 320, is procurement procedures for school food authorities. It's fairly long. It basically tells the way, you're supposed to spend money in the food service account, whether it's either receiving quotes, depending on the amount of money, the type of equipment that you purchase, whether it's approved or not. If it's not on the approved list that they have, you have to actually request approval. So that's Form 326. 327 is school nutrition programs conduct for procurement. It's just a written code of conduct. Basically states no employee, officer, or agent may participate in the selection, award, or administration of a contract supported by a federal, state, or local award. The officers, employees, and agents of the non-federal entity may neither solicit nor accept gratuities, favors, or anything of monetary value from contractors or parties for subcontracts. So it's basically stating that you can't do any collusion or, any kickbacks with the vendors.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Now, let's move on to New Jersey School Board Liaison and Alternate. Ms. Soo-Kyung Park?
I don't have any report in this committee.
Okay, thank you. And County School Board Rep and Alternative, Mr. Aaron Bott, do you have anything to share with us?
Nothing to report.
Okay. School Safety and Security Committee, Mr. Anthony Kim?
No report at this time.
So we are entering to the audit business. Do you have any report, Dr. Cirillo, or any other members that you want to address for the audit business against? If not, I have a few, like one things by the meeting minutes from last month, January, that the one parents asked about whether we can put on a notification on our website about the board meetings, that I found that it's still same on the very bottom. If you don't scroll down it, you don't really see it.
Yeah,
So
we looked
can
into
we-
that, we can't fix that. We don't manage our website, we use a company. So I asked that we put almost like a ticker, like a clock on the side,
Right.
but we would not be able to do that with them.
So
The good news is I think the Pal Park EA posted something on social media for everyone to follow, so that has the next 3 meeting dates out there. We can continue to try to share it through various means, but I cannot change the website appearance.
all over there, but just that one, right? I thought
So-
Mr.
so
Rivera does
so-
the job, but,
No, he does not, we manage the website, but we
Right.
don't host it, we don't
Okay.
own it. So that's run by Blackboard, it's one of our providers.
what if someone requests for the change of some sort of design in the website?
We could do
Is it
that,
possible?
we can do that,
Okay.
I think it might be easier to just almost put up there, like important message, click here, like a week leading into the meeting, like we do when there's a delayed opening or a snow day. And then in order to view our website, you have to click the message and you're redirected, to view that message first. So
Okay.
that could be an alternative.
Okay. The other agenda is just some announcements and just a reminder of the finance disclosure statements. If any board members has not finished it yet, it's due by April 30th. So please do so by the due date. And now, new business, do you have any?
Yeah, and I apologize to the board members. I know Alex is very diligent about getting the resolutions to all board members in a timely manner, but we did receive a request from the Palisades Park Recreation Program on Monday evening. So we added this under new business. It would normally be under buildings and grounds, but in an attempt to continue to work with our community and allow students and really children of Palisades Park, 2 programs that would need approval prior to our next meeting for advertising. One is on Friday, March 15th, a movie night, weather permitted, at Lindbergh Elementary School. And the second would be an Easter egg hunt at also Lindbergh Elementary School on Saturday, March 23rd. So that's why they're under new business. They were literally added within the last 36 hours. And we did advise them that we are requesting all items at least 1 week prior, which is customary with all of our schools.
Thank you.
Can I ask one thing?
Sure.
Okay. This is like the night work between 7 to 9:30 p.m., right?
Yes, sir.
So who could control the safety, the security?
So I hope the gentleman in the back that's here tonight has some of his friends and family members helping. So it's a town-run program. It's not a school event. So the borough of Palisades Park is responsible for that.
So eventually the police will attend.
I'm sure they will.
Usually, they assign a special officer, 1 or 2 per night.
Can I add to that?
Or you
This
can-
is run by the Recreation Department of Hell Park. So they usually have an officer there, or a special officer, or a regular officer. And there's at least 2 or 3 members from the Recreation Department that's always there. So this has been done for years. The safety, you don't have to worry about. And the Easter, it's usually a drive-through, for the last few years since COVID. So it's always been nice and smooth.
Mr. Shin, I'll ensure with the police department that there is supervision.
We have to be alerted, okay, because the situation is not like the previous, okay, so we gotta be careful for it.
I will advise them accordingly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion or question regarding new business? If not, I'd like to just introduce a motion. We are not voting now because it's work session, and I'd like to make a reintroduction of the motion that didn't pass a year ago that I raised. It's about the board members to open our public email to the website so our parents and the employees can reach out to us when after being followed that the chain of command to your contact to the school officers. So that wasn't passed last February by like 4 to 5 votes. So I'd like to reintroduce that, I'd like to make a motion to reintroduce that motion. So if any board members agree, you can make a second, if not, I will just readdress it next month.
We're still in work session.
Yeah, but we are not voting, but I'm just making to put it on the agenda.
So you would like the personal email addresses of the...
No, not personal, it's
I'm sorry.
Palisades Park, schools.org email.
Didn't we talk about this, and then we have a generic Board of Ed email if need be?
But that
Be
was
public.
not addressed neither, so I'm asking, I think it's just easier
Because I'm just
to
afraid
put
that
up
some of the
PERPA.
members on the Board of Ed,
Right.
if they're contacted by the parents,
Mhm.
you are directly involved where you shouldn't be.
No,
And
actually,
you were
no,
supposed
it's,
to pass
we
it on
are
to Dr.
elected,
Cirillo.
yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
So I'm just worried about that, so I would suggest if you really wanna publish an email address, to make a generic Board of Ed email address, so it goes to all of us, instead of directly to one specific Board of Ed member.
We discussed that too, but none of our option of that method is addressed after all.
Yeah,
And
so
I
I'm just
researched
suggesting
all
if you
other-
really want to publish it,
It's
maybe
not that I
should be-
personally want to, I believe it should be that way, because we are elected officers, and think about when you are under election, that I remember, for example, mine, you promised the residents that we'll put our parents and residents and employees best in
So
our
s-
interest.
So Ms. Chung, something as simple as where everyone is listed under the Board of Ed page,
Right.
you would have your email address to be contacted at, but your
Right.
PAL Park issued email?
Right, PerParkschool.org, and you are not obliged to respond to email. You can address to the board president as well, and we can determine whether we can respond to that or not. So don't be pressed by just being, opening your public email to public.
Clearly, it's a decision that the board would vote on. I don't make that recommendation,
Right.
but I
Okay.
would also advise,
just-
not
yeah.
being an attorney, John, you could take over whenever you want. But maybe school boards can offer an opinion, because if people are not checking that email and things are sent there, I'm a little concerned of the nature of what that email may have read. If parents are emailing board members, there's gonna be potential concern of worst case scenarios. So I think we should, again, whatever you decide, you're the president, but we should protect ourselves.
Well, in terms of the legality of it, the email addresses, Superintendent, are operable. Any email that's sent to a public elected official's email account is subjected to the Open Public Records Act. So on its face, it's public, so that's not a problem. I think operationally, excuse me, I've had a chest cold for 2 days. I think operationally, what Dr. Scholl is referring to is if there's any sort of notices in there that involve potential legal issues, personnel, discussing students' names and things of that nature, then the email addresses, that puts a little extra awareness on the individual board members. And if you do that, the only thing I would recommend is that you all retake your, the insurance company we have has courses for us on terms of ethics. And so if you're going to have your email address public and you're getting notices like that, you need to be aware of what your, each member's ethics issues could be raised based upon the content of the email. I can make this suggestion. For those who, if you're comfortable and you understand, when you get an email that, that this could be a legal issue, if you're comfortable in your own knowledge of how this works, then that's fine. But I would recommend this is for those who want it to be published, put on there, can put it on there. For those who don't. Because those courses that you have to take cover a broad range of topics, and it's all regarding ethics and potential and insurance liability. So it's not that, I agree with you, it's public. Any email that you get is public, but when it comes to the Oprah process, it's subject to a review by an official in the administration. That person is the person in charge of the records, and that gets reviewed before anything is disseminated. So that's just, I'm just talking about Oprah. I'm not talking about other things like personnel or even negotiations or anything like that. So it's just, if you're going to do that for everybody, then everyone should really take those courses.
Understood, thank you, but all the mayor, council, and all the public school teachers, their emails are open to public, that anyone can access to that address under the website, not just except our town, Palisades Park, and other neighboring town, and other Bergen County, and other county. I didn't see any school district that didn't open the board members' email, public email address to public. I didn't really see it, yeah.
You didn't see it, any
Yeah,
other boards doing it?
not many, yeah.
Well, again, just if you're gonna do it, take the course.
Okay.
Take the courses, or decide, I don't wanna do what this one wants to do, whatever you want.
Right.
But your point is well taken in terms of it having access, the public having access to the board members, in that extra step, but I would just caution that it's not as simple as it may seem.
Right, I actually agree with the cautions, as a board member, we have, without even being contacted by the public, we already have big pile of
Yes, I'm sure.
emails from NJSBA, and from within the board.
Right.
So I it's not just my personal choice, I just believe it should be addressed that way. especially of the example of what happens 2 years ago and 3 years ago with the parents who want to reach out to us. They were accused just because they found out our email address in other routes because she couldn't find the email contact address to our board members. I think any parents, any employee should not be, the blames just because they reach out to our public officers. So.
Well, that's why I'm saying they should take the class. You're
Thank
right,
you.
you're absolutely right, they should take the class to understand that.
So, okay, so is there any further issues on new business? If not, if not, I will adjourn the work session and move on to the regular session. May I have a motion? May I have a motion
I'll make
to
the
move to the regular session? Mr. Anthony Kim made motion, and who made the second?
Second.
Mr. Shin, second.
All in favor?
So, okay, in regular session, I will start with the board president report. I don't have a specific report, but, Dr. Cyril, can we briefly introduce, talk about our dance team's competition award?
Sure.
Yeah.
So under my report, and then I will get to Mr. Wilcox, there are a few items that deserve recognition. Obviously, our dance team that Ms. Chung is referring to, kudos to our dance team who once again nationally has been recognized. They finished second, as we all know, down in Orlando, Florida. They have done another tremendous job in making us all proud in this community. Because we were off the last few days, they are not being recognized here tonight. But word is out, we are inviting them to our March meeting to have special recognition again. They deserve it, and they definitely are not the only ones. Our girls swimming team, although we are co-opt with Leonia, I believe it is 9 consecutive league championships. Tara is not in the room, but I spoke to her as well, inviting not just our girls, but the Leonia girls as well. They're a team, they deserve to be recognized. 9 consecutive league championships, and I'll tell you the truth, Friday afternoon, I think, I was following Twitter more than I ever did in my life, and they were this damn close to winning a state championship. I think they lost by 2 points or 4 points, and if you've ever been to a swim meet, I'm gonna tell you wholeheartedly, I've never been to an Olympic swimming event, but when these kids are in the pool and doing what they're doing, it is incredible. Just the rush of adrenaline from these student athletes needs to be applauded, recognized, and we'll do that in the March meeting as well. Good luck to our girls basketball team. They will be competing tomorrow in the state tournament. To our state tournament eligible wrestling team, first time in a long time, kudos to them. And last but not least, in the congratulation category, our seal of biliteracy. For our teachers, you are well aware of the great news. To our board members, the seal of biliteracy is something that the State Department of Education allowed a few years ago. It allows students to prove and establish proficiency in a language other than English language arts. This past month, we had 20 out of 32 students establish proficiency. That goes directly on their transcripts when they apply to colleges. That is a testament to the hard work of our faculty, our staff. Just a couple statistics for you. In Spanish, we had 5 out of 8 students be successful. In Korean, 13 out of 19. And in Italian, 2 out of 7. So 20 out of our 32 students were successful in the seal of biliteracy. Kudos to all of them. Congrats. If we bring them and we have the crowd we have tonight, we might have to relocate. But let's start with the dance team and the swimming team.
Okay.
In the meantime, part of my presentation annually is that we have an audit presentation. I am pleased and honored to have Mr. Steve Wilcox here with us tonight. I know he has a wonderful team that has been with us for a number of years. It's always a pleasure to work alongside them. Steve, thank you for being here.
Dr. Cirillo, thank you very much, and good evening, everybody. I'll be brief. The audit for June 30, 2023 went very nicely. We issued a clean opinion, an unqualified opinion on the financial statements of the school district for the year ended June 30th, 2023. In the management report, you will see there are a number of findings. Understanding that this is not only a financial audit, it's also a compliance audit that's promulgated by the Department of State, Department of Education. If this was just a financial audit, there might have been one or two findings. The majority of the findings deal with certain compliance issues with federal grants that there's no materiality to that. If we find something, we have to report on it. None of these compliance findings are material to the financial statements or the financial operations of the district. So I wanted to put that on the record because I think that's important that everybody understand that this is not because there's issues with the business office or there's issues with the administration. When there's state and federal grants that are deemed major programs, they're over a certain threshold, we have to do a program-specific audit on those grants. So anything that comes up during that audit has to go in the report as a finding. We're required to do that. However, again, none of these findings are material to the financial statements or the financial management of the district. So I wanted to put that on the record. And then I would ask if any of the board members have any questions.
Steve, I have a question, and I know we've talked about this, and I know obviously in the event our books close on June 30th, something is brought to our attention in October when your team is stepping foot in our building. And again, I'm not doing this for anyone else's, edification, but to ensure that we are going to act on these immediately. Have many or some of these
already fixed.
We've already instilled some recommendations. We're already, so if it's fair to say that many of these will not be there next year, so long that we continue what we're doing.
Correct. Again, we had preliminary discussions during the course of the audit. When we finished the field work, Dr. Cirillo and I had a couple of discussions ourselves to go through some of these things. Again, I'd like to thank Alex and Dr. Cirillo, the administration, staff. Nobody likes auditors.
You guys are okay.
Yeah, nobody likes auditors. All we do is gum up the operation of the day-to-day activity of the business office and the administration. But yeah, we probably 85% of the findings have already been cleared. You have your corrective action program that you'll see tonight, you'll vote on tonight. I'm confident that things we chatted about for 22-23's audit will not be part of anything we talk about for 23-24.
Thank you, Steve.
This is about your communication that, so these, all the items under the corrective action plan, is that kind of fixed?
So I think what Mr. Wilcox is saying, so when they come into our office in October, for example, I think his team was with us for about 3 weeks. They may be auditing something and see something that might be of concern or need remediation. We're not waiting for tonight to enact on it. We trust their team, we trust their employees. We immediately put that into action. We've shared, Title I is a very, it's a major source of revenue, and it's a state program that changes regulations annually. A timesheet was something that was needed. We had a timesheet, but we did not have a state-issued timesheet that we immediately put into place. It's a biannual certification. We didn't wait till, tonight to say, all right, starting next year, we'll do it. We started it. We did not, this is not something that we'll wait. Let's get into a good practice and make things better.
So with your late October to up to date, like, it's been.
6 or 7 things have already been changed there, absolutely.
Okay.
To comply with the findings.
Yeah, and again, I can't stress enough that compliance versus financial. If it's financial, perhaps something that could be troublesome. Compliance is, as Dr. Cirillo said, a certain type of timesheet, a certain type of resolution. But the programs are very specific in the types of things that they require you to do to meet the guidelines. And so this is just about tightening things up a little bit in order to make sure, well, on the compliance end, we're doing everything we're supposed to do as a district.
Thank you. So a few are left that need to be addressed, and that will be discussion with Mr. Wickles.
Yeah, so anything that's remaining, the emphasis, and there's a person responsible, really this is on Alex and the business office for the most part, but I oversee most of this to ensure that we're cleaning up any concerns. These are ongoing, so it can't be you just do it one time and they're gonna be satisfied. We have to ensure that we're doing this throughout the year and going forward.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wickles.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Charlie,
When you suggest the collective action plan, do you see the collective action plan of previous year?
Yes.
Of course, you didn't do it, but the other company did. But do you see the previous year's collection plan?
Absolutely.
Okay. Then if you see that collective action plan, okay, you have exactly same problem, okay, same action needed for this year too, because it was pointed out in previous years, but it happened exactly same problem happened this year too, okay. So then, what do you suggest? Do you just suggest the collective action plan like the
No, I think
2023-11? That's the district did not maintain a general ledger for the food service fund. That was pointed out in previous years as a collective action plan, and that time the district will ensure to implement whatever, okay, to prevent from this. But it happened exactly this year too. So what would you suggest for this?
I would suggest that the administration, superintendent, has to, along with the business administrator, make sure it gets implemented immediately.
So Steve, if we may, because Alex, I know we talked about this during our meeting. Can you just, for the public's edification, and for the rest of the board really, that's a repeat finding is what Mr. Shin is saying.
Yes,
We had a
so
different
this is
firm
repeating,
last
yeah,
year.
so I would like to say.
Yeah,
this
last
in
year,
public and
2023-11 was
again
there,
next
it's
year.
here again. Can you speak to what we did last year and what still needs to be done to ensure that this compliance matter is no longer there?
So prior to last year, the way we managed our food service account was through just the checkbook. So we wrote checks to whatever vendors, and that's it. We didn't have a balance sheet, nothing. Last year, when we had the finding with our previous auditors, we implemented in our system, in the accounting software, Systems 3000, the revenues and expenditures. But the only thing now we're missing is the balance sheet side, the assets and liabilities, which I still have to work on. And once that's done, the entire general ledger would be in our accounting software.
So in fairness to Alex, Mr. Shin, we had a previous audit firm who probably recommended that we do what he did.
Yeah.
Mr. Wilcox's team is asking that we do one step further and have a balance sheet as well. I think
correct.
so in his defense,
Yep.
that's what we have to now implement to ensure it's not there a third time.
Yeah,
The good news is there were only 2 audit firms that recommended, submitted RFPs. I think both of them will be happy that we're doing what they both said. Whoever is moving forward.
yeah, this is very simple work, okay, it's not complicated.
Well, it
work,
is, but
like
it isn't.
Repairing like the restroom here, it takes like 3 or 4 years or it's $1 million to fix it, but this one is very simple thing, so if you be careful, this could be improved easily, okay?
Absolutely.
But it was repeating, that was my concern, and that's the reason I don't feel comfortable that much for this, okay?
I can tell you, and again, I know these are concerns to you, they're concerns to me. They're concerns to me. I'm making a recommendation here tonight, but I think something that we need to clarify loud and clear. Steve, during COVID, did the federal government fund us an extraordinary amount of money when we had no students in school? And that is a repeat finding, that we can't spend enough money in food service.
And
They don't allow us to
yes,
spend.
yes.
We're not allowed to.
And yes. I would say more than 50% of the school districts that we audit have the repeat finding
Of a surplus
that
in
there's
food
too
service.
much money, too much cash in the food service fund based on the state statutory calculation of 3 months average expenditures in reserve.
Charlie, we're being punished because